Welcome back. Welcome home. Welcome to worship with Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church. I am the Reverend Dr. Suzanne Intriligator. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am proud to be the minister here. I am happy to be back here in this building that we love. Even if I am here all alone at the moment, I'm thinking of all of you. And so I made that video you just saw as a little token of my affection to help you remember or imagine this place and what it feels like to walk in here on a Sunday morning and sit in these pews, surrounded by old friends and new. Can you feel it? It feels good to me to be here and to imagine that you are all here with me, because I know that truly we are together in spirit. Our building remains closed to keep us all safe for as long as necessary. But the church remains open, very much so, because the church is not a building. It's the people, you, wherever you are now. We are all connected by sound waves and Wi-Fi and thoughts and memories, by commitment and love. We are one living, thriving spiritual community. And today we celebrate and refresh that community once again with our traditional water ceremony, which is shared by many, many UU churches and dates all the way back to 1980, which is 40 years now. We celebrate with water because water is essential, elemental, foundational to all life everywhere, and deeply symbolic across all religions and literatures. Water nourishes us, connects us, drowns us, saves us. Water is life. I asked you to bring with you today a glass of water, one for each person attending. You can get one now if you need to. We'll be drinking it, so be sure that yours is fresh and clean. Newcomers are welcome to celebrate along with us today and every Sunday. If you'd like to learn more about us, please, If you'd like to learn more about us, please sign in with our digital guest book, which will appear, the link to which will appear magically in the chat box now. Anne, if you'd put it up there, please. Speaking of the chat box, your host there today is the lovely Anne N. And helping me to host the service technically on Zoom this morning are Dan G. and Josh M. Many thanks to them, and also to our choir members who pitched in this week to help with the music. As usual, there is a lot going on around church, and you should read your email news. Our anti-racism team and our Green Sanctuary group are off and running, and our immigration ministry team asks for your help as they raise funds this month via the annual Walk for Refugees, this year socially distanced. You can find out more about the walk and about the asylum-seeking families we are supporting on our website. Anne will share that link with you right now. Thank you, Anne, for doing that. If you like, you can also use the chat box to say hello to everyone. And please also feel free to stay afterward for our virtual coffee hour when everyone will have a chance to talk and get to know each other a little bit better. Please, if you like to learn more about our church, check out our website at melroseuu.org. And if you find today's service inspiring, please donate there too. Be sure to use the note area and PayPal and write in the word pledge or plate. Your generosity keeps the lights on. And now it's our time to greet your neighbor. Click on Gallery View so you can see everyone and scroll through the windows now. Give everyone a wave and a virtual hug and a big smile. And let us enjoy seeing one another's gorgeous faces. Good morning. Hey, everybody. Look at all those people. Good morning. Wonderful. I am so glad to see you all this morning. I feel you here with me in our beautiful space. I call us to worship with these words from the Reverend Molly Hausch Gordon, our minister in Columbia, Missouri. We gather this morning tenderly, like drops of dew on a leaf of grass, hopefully, like gathered raindrops in a cloud, gleefully, like water rushing in a stream to the sea, deeply, like groundwater pulled up from a well. We gather from every direction for another year of growth and depth, another year of companionship and hope, another year of learning to love this world. We gather like the water that joins us across all of creation, the water that connects us within and without, merging and flowing across the entire world. And now, along with UUs everywhere, I will light the symbol of our faith, the flaming chalice. This year's congregation president, Dan Griscom, will give our chalice lighting reading. Over to you, Dan.
Good morning. I'm Dan Griscom. I'm the president of the MUUC board and today's worship host. This reading is Thirsty by Reverend Gregory Pelly. And so we gather from the ebb and flow of our lives, thirsty for connection to ourselves, thirsty for connection to others, thirsty for connection to the larger life. As we light this chalice, may all who gathered here be filled with joy and hope, filled with compassion and love. Here may we be filled so that we may pour ourselves out into the world.
Thank you, Dan, and blessings on your new role in leadership of our church. And now, to tell you about our first hymn, I'd like to introduce another leader, Vivian Montgomery. She's our new guest music director, and she will be with us until Thanksgiving when Tara returns from parental leave. Along with being an experienced choir director, Vivian is a talented pianist and organist. She also plays harpsichord and accordion, and she teaches at the Langy School of Music. We are lucky to have her with us. Take it away, Vivian.
Good morning. Thank you all for a very warm welcome. It's been delightful to meet and make music with some of you this week, and I look forward to getting to know you better and making more music with more of you. Our opening hymn this morning is Down to the River to Pray. It's sung by Jenny W. And as usual, we ask you to remain muted, but please sing along at home as loud as you like. This is a rousing one and easy to join in on. Jenny will lead us in the first verse to give you the hang of it, and you come in right after that. So Dan, please share now the opening hymn.
I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, my friends, let's go down, come on down. Oh, my friends, let's go down in the river to pray. I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down in the river to pray. I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down in the river to pray. I went down to the river to pray, studying about the good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, fathers, let's go down in the river to pray. I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, mothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, mothers, let's go down in the river to pray.
Gorgeous. And now let us join together in the words of our covenant, followed by the song of aspiration. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and with our God. And now it's story time. Please, folks of all ages, gather around your device for a story about water from Katie Kmeyer, our Director of Religious Education. Katie.
Good morning, friends. A couple of years ago, I went on a trip with a youth group to Pine Ridge Reservation, home of the Oglala Lakota people. While there, we saw the effects of hundreds of years of colonization and our government on the people indigenous to this land. The people we met there shared their culture, a culture that they've had to fight to keep. They also shared their stories of creation and destruction, of heartache and resilience. I'm still figuring out how to be a good ally to Indigenous people, how to use my voice for change. One thing that the people we met on our trip asked us to do was to share what we learned and to lift their voices. My hope is that our story this morning is a small way to honor that request. The Lakota people have a phrase, Mani wi choni, which means water is life. Our story today, We Are Water Protectors, written by Carol Lindstrom and illustrated by Michaela Goad, tells more about the concept of water is life through the eyes of an Indigenous child.
Water is the first medicine, Nokomis told me. We come from water. It nourished us inside our mother's body as it nourishes us here on Mother Earth. Water is sacred, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. The river's rhythm runs through my veins, runs through my people's veins. My people talk about a black snake that will destroy the land. Spoil the water, poison plants and animals, wreck everything in its path. When my people first spoke of the black snake, they foretold that it wouldn't come for many, many years. Now the black snake is here. Its venom burns the land, courses through the water, making it unfit to drink. Take courage. I must keep the black snake away from my village's water. I must rally my people together to stand for the water, to stand for the land, to stand as one against the black snake. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. It will not be easy. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, the winged ones, the crawling ones, the four-legged, the two-legged, the plants, trees, rivers, lakes. The earth. We are all related. Tears like waterfalls stream down, tracks down my face, tracks down my people's faces. Water has its own spirit, Nokomis told me. Water is alive. Water remembers our ancestors who came before us, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. We are stewards of the earth. Our spirits have not been broken. We are water protectors. We stand. The black snake is in for the fight of its life.
Do you know what the black snake in the story was? It was the Dakota Access Pipeline, a pipeline carrying oil from North Dakota through Illinois and right under the Missouri River, the main water supply for the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, which is not far from where I visited a couple of years ago. In July, just 2 months ago, a judge ordered the pipeline to be shut down. This is a big victory. People kept fighting for what they knew was right. They didn't give up. At this year's General Assembly, which is the annual gathering of Unitarian Universalists from across the continent, there were many offerings to learn about the lasting effects of the colonization of this land on Indigenous peoples. As Unitarian Universalists, our faith calls us to seek the truth, even when it is ugly or uncomfortable, like our history with Indigenous people is. It calls on us to keep learning. Our faith calls on us to work for justice and equity for all people. As we start a new church year, I am looking forward to learning and growing and working with all of you to create the world we dream about. Blessed be.
Thank you, Katie. Every Sunday in our worship, we take time for prayer and meditation, a time for each of us to connect with our breath, with our inner lives, with peace, and with the holy. As we enter into our time of centering, please take your hands from your keyboards, place them gently in your lap or wherever is most comfortable. Settle into your chair. Breathe. My friends, the last few months have not been easy. We are all of us moving through an unprecedented crisis. We are holding so much stress, sadness, grief, anxiety, fear. Here in this sanctuary, before the holy, we bring our truth, all of it. Make space for all of your truth. During this centering time today, let yourself feel your joys and your sorrows. Make space for everything. And then, only when and if you like, maybe allow these questions to ruminate. What am I? What are we learning from this pandemic? How are we adapting in this time, rising to the challenge? What gifts of resilience are growing within us? Let whatever arises come forth. If you like, there will be a time later on in the service to share a response with us. For now, let us join together in our centering song, sung for us today by Beth, Karen, and Jenny. And then let us sit together in silence for a few moments. Please now share the centering song.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing through my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart, and it's telling me I'm somebody. There's a river flowing through my heart. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind.
Beautiful. Now we enter into our few moments of shared silence. Every week, we share with one another the personal milestones of our lives, the joys and sorrows that mark our days, so that we might know and support one another better. We're starting a new church year, and so I'd like to try something new, something just a little different, a slight change from the usual way we do this ritual. I trust that you'll let me know what you think. If you will, I'm going to ask for all the sorrows first, so that we might give them the space that they deserve and say a small separate prayer. Then I'll ask for the joys second, so we can celebrate them all together. Please, if you have a sorrow to share with us today, type it into the chat box and I will read them all aloud. While you type, I will start. My heart is aching today for all the people and wildlife of California, Oregon, and Washington. The displacement and the destruction there by the fires in recent weeks is just terrifying and sad for the planet. Let's look into the chat box and see. Candle from Jane for Mrs. Brown, one of my mother's best friends who died on Friday. She was a creative, loving person. From Aaron, a candle of concern for my cousin who was in a serious car accident last weekend. From Florence, a candle of love and remembrance for my dad, Tom, gone 18 years this week. From Susan, a candle of sorrow for my husband's cousin, Tommy, who passed away this week. From Rebecca, a candle of concern for friends of mine who live in Oregon and California and are impacted by the fires. From Dan G, sorrow, my uncle and aunt, two of the last of that generation, are both having significant health problems and having trouble caring for each other. From John P, a candle of concern for my daughter. She's worried about her job, and also for all those worrying about theirs. From Adrian H to everyone, please send your thoughts and prayers to my friend whose 10-month-old grandson is undergoing treatment for eye cancer. From Mary Beth G, sorrow, candle for the family of a friend whose husband, father died very suddenly. From Laura and Allison, a candle of joy. I will do that in a minute. From Gail, a candle of concern for my brother and sister-in-law because of the terrible air quality in Eugene, and my sister Phyllis in Portland, Oregon. From Jim, this is a candle of sorrow from Maureen and Jim for our good friend Pat Ryan. She beat cancer twice, but sadly lost her battle with COVID. Please keep her family and her friends in your thoughts and prayers. From Cheryl, sorrow for a year without the Victorian Fair today. I love attending and seeing everyone there. From Jenny W, a candle for my great aunt Pat Pont, it says Pont, who passed away on Friday. She was the last of her generation and my mother's surrogate mama after our beloved Grandma Rita died. Thank you. We lift up all the sorrows here shared and all the people they impact. Our circle of concern and love embraces them all. We hold these sorrows in our hearts. We pledge to help however we can, and we send our wishes and prayers for strength and healing. I'll now light one candle as a beacon of care for all the sorrows, spoken and unspoken today. And now I ask for all the joys you'd like to share. Type them into the chat box and I will read them aloud. Someone had a chat early, a candle of joy earlier. If you could repost that, I would appreciate it. Ah, thank you. Somebody did that for me. Wonderful. All right. This is a candle of joy for Allison's 9th birthday on Wednesday. Happy birthday, Allison. From Aaron, a candle of joy to be back with everyone and to see you all on this beautiful day. From Martha, a candle of joy, my son and daughter-in-law are expecting a baby in mid-March, my first grandchild. Congratulations, Martha. From Brian G to everybody, a joy from the Goss family. We are expecting a baby girl due in January. Hannah is excited to be a big sister. We're also buying our first home in North Reading, closing in October. Congratulations to the Gosses. From the Wrights, candle of joy for Lisa's recent promotion. Congratulations. From the Tashoni Noto family, from Lillian, their daughter, who's excited that there will be a full moon on Halloween this year. That should be interesting. From Brian J to everyone, candle of joy. Darby is recovering from her fractured pelvis and has managed to climb the stairs to the 2nd floor. Good for you, Darby. From Mary H, my daughter Katie is due to have her 2nd baby girl next month. From Cheryl to everyone, joy that a recent medical crisis is over. I got the good news on Friday. Hooray. From Gail M, candle of joy for the birth of a great nephew, Luca, on 9/11. Welcome, Luca. From Jenny W, a candle of joy. We have moved and settled into our new home in Melrose. Congratulations. From Cheryl, a joy that remote school is starting this week. From James I, candle of joy to be back and a tiny candle of sorrow for less Saturday time with Suzanne and the family. From Stella, a candle of joy celebrating Grandparents' Day today with family. Beautiful, thank you for all those joys. By speaking these joys, you invite us all to share in your good fortune. You lift us all up together and hope points the way forward. I now light one more candle to shine out our joy for all the blessings that you have shared this morning. Sorrows and joys both have their place in the Jewish high holidays. Later this week comes Rosh Hashanah, a moment to wish one another and all we know, Lashana Tova, a sweet new year. So Vivian has selected for us Hava Nashira, a joyous favorite for our offertory today. And she invited Jenny and John and Randall to pitch in on the song. Before you watch it, however, I want to assure you that everyone here was at least 12 feet apart. When they're depicted in this song, they're 12 feet apart, the windows were open, and the fans were blowing. Dan, please share Hava Nashira with us. Thank you, John and Randall, and Vivian and Jenny. Our reading this morning is from the writer, Clarissa Pinkola Estes. She is a psychoanalyst and a writing teacher who has worked for many years with prison inmates and with disabled veterans. This poem is called The Rainmaker. By the scent of water alone, the withered vine comes back to life, and thus, wherever the land is dry and hard, you could be the water. Or you could be the iron blade disking the earth open. Or you could be the acequia, the mother ditch, carrying the water from river to the fields to grow the flowers for the farmers. Or you could be the honest engineer, mapping the dams that must be taken down and those dams which could remain to serve the venerable all instead of only the very few. You could be the battered vessel for carrying the water by hand, or you could be the one who stores the water. You could be the one who protects the water, or the one who blesses it, or the one who pours it. Or you could be the tired ground that receives it. Or you could be the scorched seed that drinks it. Or you could be the vine, green growing over land in all your wild audacity. Here ends our reading. The sound of a pack of laughing kids floats across the river. It's a wild and excited noise, punctuated by a loud splash as a child drops from a rope swing into the water below, unquote. These are the words of Kate Hennessy, a white writer for the Australian magazine Well-Being. I wonder how this place must feel for them, she writes. For they are Pakanji kids, descendants of Aboriginal people. Pakanji literally means river people, and these children are connected ancestrally, spiritually, to the very water they play in. Their connection here stretches back an estimated 35,000 years. Hennessy goes on. Unlike the Pakanji, white Australians have no ancestral connection to bodies of water in our country, but for many, water is still a rich source of spiritual nourishment. Nathan Oldfield is a surfer Hennessy interviewed, and he can't remember life without waves. Surfing has never been merely a physical activity for me. It transcends physicality. It's an experience of the heart and the spirit, says Nathan. It's all about the water, he says, about being in it, on it, under it, along it, across it, inside it. We surfers go to the sea to ride bands of energy that have traveled through the water for thousands of miles. We are upheld by something larger than ourselves. That feeling of being upheld by something larger than ourselves, that has drawn humans to the water and to stories about the water since the beginning of time. The earth was without form and void, reads the first verse of the book of Genesis, for example. And the Spirit of God was moving over the face of the waters. Around the world from ancient times, when people have imagined our beginnings, they have pictured a creator who comes forth and brings forth from the waters. In Hindu holy books, all the earth's inhabitants emerge from a primordial sea. In Babylonian mythology, the gods come from a fusion of salt water and fresh water. Our ancestors worshiped the water because it was the source and sustainer of life. And so it must be a gift from the gods. Without water, There are no crops, no people, no nothing. Water is life, says the grandmother in Katie's story today. Water is the first medicine. We come from the water inside our mother's bodies. And we connect to the water which comes from Mother Earth. And always, water, along with the gods and the goddesses who represent it, holds the power both to create and to destroy. The Greek god of the sea, Poseidon, for example, could guide ships, but also brought storms and earthquakes. And of course, there are tales of great floods. They're common in ancient religions and literatures. The water brings terror and destruction, but then regeneration and purity, like a cleansing ritual writ large. In Judaism and Islam, ritual washing plays an important role. It restores or maintains a state of purity. Almost all Christian churches, too, have a symbolic ritual involving water, a washing away that renews and restores. I found out recently that the Tao Te Ching, the Chinese philosophy text from the 6th century BC, declares that we can learn from water about the very essence of the supreme good itself. The supreme good, like God or spirit, flows like water. It nourishes all beings without judgment. Like water, it flows always to the very lowest point and fills it up. Water finds a way around any obstacle. How can we learn the lessons of water? Wherever the land is dry and hard, says Clarissa Pinkel Estes, you could be the water. You could be the battered vessel for carrying the water, or you could be the tired ground that receives it, or you could be the scorched seed that drinks it, or you could be the vine, green growing over land in all your wild audacity. You could be the water. Now is the time for our annual water ritual. The ritual always involves the sharing and pouring of water, the mixing of all our various offerings that we bring into one large vessel, our community reservoir of refreshment and renewal. So you can see in this bowl behind me here, I've already poured some water. You can't see that water, but trust me, it's in there. I poured some holy water from last year's water communion. And you know that that water actually contained water from the year before as well, which I cleaned and boiled and added to that. So you could say in a real sense that if you've been here before, this bowl contains a memory of your touch, a memory of all those who have been with us before. And into it, we will pour forth the feeling, the sense of who we are now, these gathered here today in this moment of our communal life. Earlier in the service during our meditation time, I asked you to ponder 3 questions, to let them wash about in your mind. I wonder what has floated up for you in response. I wonder, as I go up there and pour the water, if you would share your thoughts. To do that, to participate in the water ceremony today, I'll ask you to line up as you would if you were here with me in the sanctuary. To line up in our Zoom room, I need you to type just one word into the chat box, a word like water or ready. That way your name will pop up and Anne can call on you one at a time. And after she calls on you, you can unmute yourself and share with us one word or one sentence that comes to you when I ask these 3 questions. What am I? What are we learning from the pandemic? How are we adapting, rising to the challenge? What are the gifts of resilience that are growing within us? Okay, I'm going to pour the water and listen to you share.
The first name I see is John P. Please unmute yourself and come forward.
I've learned that I can live with those I live with, and I miss those that I don't.
Josh S., if you could unmute and come forward.
COVID and George Floyd have opened pathways in my life and in my heart.
And now I will call on myself. I've learned that I have more flexibility and resilience than I thought I did, but also that I have new areas of vulnerability. Adrian W.
During this past year of personal, health, and social stressors, the following comes to mind: courage, new normal, my family, which is my local pod, and reuniting with my extended family, new community of this church, and finally, finding balance.
Dan G.
I've learned that I can be flexible, but I really need my community.
Doug D.
Learning and have learned that we can have community even when we're not with each other, and that we can take care of each other even when we're apart.
Next, we have the rights.
We've learned that we can persevere through many challenges.
Vivian.
I've learned to slow down to a slower flow.
Mary Beth G.
I think we all need to recommit to the golden rule of caring for others as you do yourself in all things, meaning wear your mask, take care of your people, and take care of yourself so that everyone can be healthy.
Chuck F.
I have learned again that I and we can get used to almost anything. And as with many things, there's pros and cons there. And I'm also discovering what happens if I don't cut my hair.
Jane F.
I'm discovering what happens to Chuck if he doesn't cut his hair. And also the joy I feel in the little things, like a wave across the street.
Kathy.
I'm learning that I still have the courage to start new adventures and new challenges.
Dan F.
I'm learning how much I need and how much I can depend on my family and friends and community.
Brian J.
I've learned that church is not the building, it's the people. Church is where you are.
Paul B.
I've learned that inconvenience in support of the greater good isn't really a sacrifice, and that a well barbecued meal can make up for a lot.
Cheryl R.
I've learned how to slow down a bit and just to take in the scenery. Went on a nice bike ride, which I'm really enjoying bike rides lately.
Nyla.
I've learned how close my emotions are to the surface. They're there very quickly. And also how much I value my connections in this time of separateness.
Sarah S.
I've learned to let go of future planning a little bit and enjoy and figure out the day I'm living at this moment.
Beth Y.
I've learned that a simpler a life allows for more time to listen and learn from the world, others, and myself.
Well, that brings me to the end of the names I see in the chat. If I have skipped over anybody, feel free to put something in the chat. And not seeing any, I will turn it back to you, Reverend Suzanne.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you, everybody. The water now holds all these thoughts, mixes them, bonds them. This bowl becomes a reservoir of our communal wisdom in this moment, a blend of all our gifts of resilience and renewal. I want to touch it. This is our community's life force, our hope and our vision. And I invite you now to drink from it symbolically. Remember, I asked you to bring a glass of water with you this morning. If you would, pick it up for one final blessing. First, feel its weight in your hands. It's sturdy and heavy and real. Now, hold the water up to the light. Does it seem to disappear? Jiggle it, watch it flow, if you can do that without spilling. Watch the light dance off of it. Do you see a reflection in the water? Is it your face? Is it a loved one? Is it a rainbow? Hold the water now to your lips and taste it. How does it feel in your mouth? How does it taste? Does it taste of nothing or of everything? Drink now. Drink your fill as much as you like. Feel the water sloshing about, going down, filling you up. Close your eyes now if you like and feel your belly, feel it fuller. Imagine you can feel your heartbeat now, and your heart is pumping that water through all your cells. All the molecules of water are flowing about inside you, bringing nourishment to every cell in your being. The water is refreshing you, renewing you, connecting every part of you with nature, with oceans, with peace, with the holy, and with us, this place, our wisdom, our history, our future, as it rushes out in front of us. You can open your eyes now. Breathe. We are, all of us, living through an unprecedented crisis, holding so much and carrying it with us in our daily lives as we move toward an uncertain future. We can't see the path ahead, but we know with our whole selves these two important things. First, we have each other. We have a deep reservoir of wisdom and love in this community to drink from as much as we like. It is always full and always refilling. Second, we are connected to this world, to the waters of history and time, to the waters of the entire planet, constantly mixing and swirling, and through them, we are bound to the animals and the plants and the people. We are connected, in other words, to everything and to what is most holy and precious, the very spirit of life. We can drink from it as much as we like. It is always full and always refilling. Let us now, and for the days ahead, feel restored, refreshed, and renewed. Amen. For our closing hymn today, I have chosen a video hymn that was made in June for our National General Assembly of UUs because it's a beautiful hymn and the message is spot on for us today. Feel free to listen and join in as you like. The lyrics are super simple and they're shown up on the screen. Relax and enjoy. Dan, please share the video called Tomorrow.
There will be better days. 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 Let the wave wash over. There will be better days. There will be better days. There will be better days. I am there will be better days. 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 Let the wave wash over. There will be better days. There will be better days. There will be better days. Let the wave wash over. There will be better days. There will be better days. There will be better days. Let the wave wash over. There will be better days. There will be better days. There will be better days. I am there will be better days. There will be better days. There will be better days. Let the wave wash over. There will be better days. There will be better days. There will be better days. Let the wave wash over. There will be better days. There will be better days. There will be better days. Let the wave wash over. There will be better days. There will be better days. There will be better days. I am there will be better days. There will be better days. There will be better days. Let the wave wash over. There will be better days. 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 There will be better days.
You could be the water, or you could be the tired ground that receives it. You could be a vine, green growing over land in all your wild audacity. For now, let the wave wash over you. Let it refresh your faith. Remember, there will be better days. There will be better days. There will be better days. Amen.